Hello, Deborah, and welcome to Hera TV Interviews. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, and I'm very excited to be part of it, and of course to see you again. Well, albeit virtually, of course.
Yes, you've got such an amazing bio. You've just released a book, and it's just gone straight to #1, and we're going to discuss that shortly. And you are a reality TV actress, a model, a presenter, an author, and you run your own dance school as well as your own beauty school. The list goes on, a VIP pageant. So yes, this is just, especially on a platform for women, this is just phenomenal. Can you tell us a little bit about your book to start off with? Congratulations.
Thank you. My book actually addressed a lot of topical issues, and it played a part in who I am and what I've done over the years. And because there's so many topical issues that we've addressed this year and last year, of course. So things like BLM, COVID, a lot of unrest, a lot of riots, all of that sort of thing. And I thought it was the perfect time to release a book which wasn't just a photographic book that was celebrating women and men of all cultural heritage, but it also, I put in some of my red carpet interview techniques. And so each person was interviewed with what I would call like an out of the box interview, and it really asked leading questions about what's your cultural heritage, how do you feel about diversity, what's going on with the COVID situation in your life.
Wow.
This was very relevant right now to really highlight it, but also to do it in a positive way where people felt that they could express themselves in a positive way and to reflect their feelings, which of course are reality. And I kind of packaged it all up with having every single culture and creed here, and they all got dressed up in designers' outfits and were photographed, looking and feeling fabulous during such a difficult time as well.
Yes, I've had a sneak peek at some of those photos. They're absolutely gorgeous, especially the front cover. And I've seen like Asian models, I've seen Black models, and it does represent the multicultural society we now live in. And congratulations to that. What is actually the title of your book?
It's actually called Model Diaries UK, and it's series 1. And I got the most amazing news today. Like you said, it's gone to #1 in the bestsellers. And the thing is, when I put a project together, I want to do something relevant and something relevant to the situation, not only to take people out of a very difficult situation, but to celebrate them as well. And I feel like roll on series 2. I've got so much, I've got so many people now, ambassadors and photographers and actors and actresses. So I can't, again, I step out of the box. I tend to choose models who aren't sort of classical models within the industry. I tend to like to take people who are strong, strong women and strong men that are making a statement, and to put them into the book, because I think it's really important that we recognise all of us within the cultural, diversity, that we all come together and show that there actually is, this integration despite everything that's been going on, this year and last year.
Yes. I think your book does that very, very well, because especially at a time, I think it's just so amazing at a time where we're in lockdown, we're here in the UK, and you manage to engage with an industry that is really feeling the pinch during the pandemic, especially the models, the designers, And how were you able to get around this? Because to do all that under lockdown,
I know.
and
Can you
to
imagine?
go straight to number one in less than a week.
You know, the thing is that it was something that I had wanted to do for a long time, but I was working 7 days a week, 5 nights a week, and although I wanted to do it, it just got put on the back burner. And then of course COVID, you know, trying to take something positive away from it, gave me a chance to actually do it. And there was at the beginning it was very difficult. You know, people were saying, well, you know, how am I going to stay safe? How am I going to, you know, how am I going to be part of this during COVID? And we really had to arrange the themed shoots around the COVID restrictions. So at one point we were allowed 6 people in the garden. So I put a marquee up, and to make sure that we didn't break the law, I had a police officer who's a friend of mine. We had walkie-talkies. You know, we even had food packs and, you know, little cans of drinks, so that when you had a drink, that would be your drink rather than sharing a drink. And I did all of that. You know, we did temperature checks, we did forms, COVID safe forms, and so we sort of got around it. And the first one that we did was in July. And when everybody came, it was actually an Asian shoot, and my objective was to get African women and European women and women of every culture to actually be an Asian queen, a bride. And they were heavy outfits. I mean, I don't know if you know, but they're beaded, and it was
I absolutely love the Asian outfits, the saris. They're very colourful, I think. And there's a lot of jewelry on it, and
they're just exquisite.
I love.
And it was like 31, 32 degrees centigrade, and you have no idea. We were nearly fainting from the heat. And you know, to wear these heavy, intricate outfits in such a hot, and you know, I've got I would say most of the photographers, bar 2, I think, are African, they're Afro-Caribbean. And you know, and one of them was based outside, and he photographed in the heat all day at 31, 32 degrees centigrade. And you know, as I say, people had no idea. We were literally dripping.
I remember this summer, I absolutely loved it. I spent most of the summer in the garden. I love the garden. So somebody like you, you've done so much for women, you've done so much as a woman, and especially at such a difficult time. What do you think made you think and sit there and say, yes, I'm going to, in spite of all the challenges, I'm going to go and do a book? Even though everything says that I should not be able to make this book happen because of the restrictions.
Well, this is actually my 8th book. I've written some books under a pseudonym as well. So for me, writing is a big part of, you know, my expression. I express myself through writing. And as I say, this one I say was probably the most difficult, because I tried to make every page unique, and unique as in an expression. So I had one of my beautiful Afro-Caribbean ladies, she wore an afro, and we wanted to make a statement, you know, about that woman. And then of course we had a lady from Thailand, and we wanted to make a statement. So it was trying to make each page something different, and I did it
basically like to take you on a journey of around the world.
Yes, and it was, you know, I made it like a scrapbook. That was my that was what I wanted to do. I wanted to have like little snippets of different things, and you know, put it like you would have if you actually made a scrapbook. And then I made some stories as well, like storyboards. And so, you know, I love it, and the people that have seen it love it. And you know, and I think getting all of these issues out in the open, but also not representing the classical beauty, but actually showing that every woman is beautiful. So, you know, the age range, the sizes, the diversity, the different outfits, I think really reflected that. And this is only the start for me. I've been commissioned for a 7-part series.
Wow.
So you know, I really, but at the moment I'm just celebrating the fact that everybody loves the book as much as I do.
Yes, including me,
Oh.
Yes, because I think what you've said here on this platform, and for every woman who has a child, every young girl, even the men as well, that knowing who you are and loving yourself, and no matter your shape, size, gender, that is a very, very important thing to love yourself. And I think for me that is very, very important, that your book tries to demonstrate that.
Yes, yes, yes. And I mean, I hope that I've achieved it as well. And, you know, historically, since I was 17 years old, I've always worked in a diverse industry.
Yeah.
You know, I always think about things before I'm interviewed. And, you know, going back to my early 20s, I was responsible, I played quite a big part in the first ever Afro-Caribbean TV show that was launched. It was on Sky, it was called Identity TV.
Wow.
And also,
I think I remember the name, but I can't.
yeah, I'd love to meet her again. I don't know what's happened to her. And then Asianet as well. So at that time, these were new channels that were coming about that were actually celebrating women of culture. And you know, and it was a real kind of big step for these people to come out and actually do this. And I played a part in it. So, you know, I was just thinking back to how long it's been that I've been involved with cultural diversity. And I would have to say it kind of started, well, even before that at school. You know, we didn't have the diversity and the integration that we have now. You know, when I was brought up, when I was at school, there was one Asian lady and one Afro-Caribbean man. That was it in the whole school. And they were my friends. And they were my friends. They were people that, you know, I stayed friends with for many, many years. So I've got an itchy nose. And, you know, for many, many years. And so for me, I think it started at a very young age.
Yes. You also run a beauty school as well. Can you tell us a bit about your beauty school?
Yes, of course. So alongside, I always had 2 careers. The first one was media, television, you know, national magazines, journalism. And it was a real passion for me because I find I just love to express myself through, you know, through the spoken word and through media. But I also had this great urgency to want to help people. And so alongside that, I was always doing courses, prayer ministry, and hands-on prayer, you know, where you put your hands on, like the healing, and all of that sort of thing. And I trained in, I think it was 76 altogether, qualifications. So I teach degree level medical science, which is anatomy and physiology. I absolutely love the way that the body works. I've been teaching it today actually, and it's you know, it never tires me. It's absolutely fascinating. And then it was all about sort of therapies and trying to find out how you could help somebody at a deep level other than looking at a medication from a GP. And that led on to founding the Angel Academy of Teaching and Training in 2003. I'd been teaching before that, and I had tutors that were beauty led, and I'd never really been that interested in it. But then coincidentally, as I started to be on the stage and I started to get makeup artists and all of that sort of thing, I started to really get interested myself in the beauty side of it. So we do beauty and therapy, but we teach a lot of students who have English as their second language. I worked at a couple of colleges that were very sort of Asian based, and we still have, you know, we have people come from all over the world. I've had people from like, I had one from Sierra Leone, I had one from Montego Bay, I've had people from India, I've had people from Ireland, and you know, it's lovely. It really is to be able to teach people from all over the world.
Yes. So I also noticed on your bio you're a pageant judge, and a lot of people especially feminists might disagree with beauty pageants. Can you tell us a bit more about that and how you judge? How do you judge beauty? How do you measure beauty?
It's interesting, isn't it? And you know, I think that pageantry, I was talking about this yesterday, and I was referring to Miss Congeniality, which was a film with Sandra Bullock, and she was a police officer. And she accidentally got involved in a pageant, and you know, her opinion of these women was that they were all like, oh, you know, and really didn't have any essence, and it completely changed her attitude by the end of the film. And I think I'd like to relate that to me, because I didn't really get into pageantry. Well, I became a pageant queen at 50 after my divorce. Wow. And before that, there is this stigma, you know, I remember Miss World, you know, and I remember looking at these women and they all said the same thing, and they all looked, you know, like they were, well, I mean, I could never look like that. I never looked like that in the morning, and, you know, and so I think
we all wish.
And it's really, really difficult. And I was talking about the pressure on women, you know, in the looks and everything now with Instagram, social media, you know, the aesthetic business, and it all applies. And I think I fell into it because some of the people that I was involved with in charities then went and did pageants, and they started to ask me to be pageant judge. And the thing is, I always look at the depth of somebody, and you know, so I asked them, sort of, I've always done this, ask them delving questions, you know, about themselves, just to get to know who they are, because beauty is deep, right? And sometimes the surface of somebody, they could be the most beautiful person, but if their personality isn't shining through, that's one of the reasons why they don't get chosen as a winner. So having been sort of involved in it and having seen some of the women backstage, they're lovely. They're lovely people. And, you know, there's so many issues with them and lacking self-confidence. And I think that pageantry is a way sometimes that girls and women use this platform to increase their confidence, you know, if they win, and the people that embrace them as well. So, you know, I say, hey ho, you know, let's all embrace each other for whatever, you know, whatever area we see as important.
Yes, I think what you're saying is correct, because I've been involved in that as well, and I've noticed that a lot of the beauty pageants have got a history in abuse and a lot of different trauma in childhood, and winning the pageant allows them to have confidence, and they've gone on to amazing stuff, starting businesses, getting degrees to PhDs, and to empower other people. And I think that's where sometimes we lose the vision of beauty pageants, that, as you said, is skin deep. It's more about the character of the person, so we can always look at it from different angles. But going back to yourself, Deborah, that we know you are a celebrity known here in the UK. Who would you say is your role model?
Oh gosh, I don't really, to be honest, I don't have a role model. My classical, you know, role models as a child was things like Marilyn Monroe, Audrey Hepburn. But for me, I love strong women. And I think that's why I'm so embraced by the Afro-Caribbean world, because the women, and I can only speak from experience and the people that I associate with, but the women have a real strength about them. And, you know, they tell you how it is, they tell you what it's going to be. And I like that. You know where you are. And when you have a drive and an ambition, and you're quite confident yourself as well, then you can relate to, these women. So I think that my role models right now would be women. It sounds awful to keep referring to women and not men, but women inspire me. Women love other women. Women look at other women, and if they like their dress, they will take ideas away from that. And women look at other women, and the women that are ambassadors, that are right out there, speaking the truth. They're raising money for charity. They don't see anything as holding them back. And these are my role models. And there's so many. It just continues. Every time I do an event and I meet a woman who's running the event, because to be fair, it is mostly women. It really, it's maybe that's just me, and it's just the industry that I'm attracting, but there's always a strong woman there, and they empower me.
Yes, well, that is sounding fabulous, especially here on Hera Platform for Women. And moving forward to the next question that I ask all my guests is, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Oh, I love it. And I love the spontaneity when I don't know what the questions are as well, because it allows me to think about, what. I would say that I cared so much about what other people thought about me. And I've talked about this a lot as well. I was seriously ill for nearly 10 years, and people turning away from me in the street, and people turning their children away from me, and this kind of thing. And it was a very, very painful experience, and I really cared more about what other people thought than about looking after myself. And this is a lesson which I have to remind myself about regularly, because this was the way that I was brought up, and I always look at everybody else. So the book couldn't have been the book unless I took people with me. It was all about embracing other people, and sometimes I forget about myself. And I've had a few health scares recently, and they're quite serious health scares. And again, it makes me have to step back and think about myself, and and looking after myself. So if I could send some information back, it would be to always look after yourself, and to do whatever's happened in your life, and we've all got life experiences, to always learn somehow to love yourself, and to actually put yourself first, because this is a big issue for me. I've always put everybody else first, and then been carried in with that success.
Yes.
Good question.
Yes, that was a very, very good answer, which I think resonates in a lot of the interviews that I've done, that every woman, we tend as women to have natural instinct of putting others first instead of ourselves, and we then forget about ourselves. But I believe that advice is very, very good. And if you were to give women advice of 3 things that you think are important in life, what would those advice be?
3 things.
Yes.
Love yourself, because you can't love anybody else or be loved unless you love yourself first. Don't let life hold you back. It's full of knockbacks. I really only started to do what I'm doing now in my 50s, and a lot of women would have given up. There's been a lot of knockbacks. So I always say, if you feel it in your heart that it's the thing to do and the right thing to do as well, then you've just got to do it, and keep doing it. No matter what the knockback is, keep doing it. And the third one, I don't know, maybe it's related to the second one, but it's believe in yourself. And you've got to believe in yourself first. And I guess this is all to do with loving yourself as well, because if you don't believe in yourself, then again, you can't really get somebody else to believe in you, and really sharing your passion as well. I have a passionate drive, and it drives me every day. And I sometimes get too passionate about it when I talk about diversity. But it's where I am, and that passion shows through. And and no matter who's listening to it, it's going to be reflected in what I say, because I 100% believe it. So I think you've got to, you know, you've got to really believe in yourself and the statement that you're making.
Yes, those are absolutely good answers. I mean, there's no right answers about these things, but I think every woman needs to believe in themselves and to not think about the age or any hurdles in life. So as we round up, I'd like you to give how people can reach out to you, or if people want to get involved, or where people can purchase your books. So if you can let us know.
Okay, so it's called Model Diaries UK, and it's on an international Amazon platform. So if you go onto Amazon, any of them, .co.uk or .com, and then put Deborah Jay Kelly, so Deborah, Deborah, Jay Kelly, and you'll see all my books, and it's available actually because it's gone to #1, and I don't know, Amazon seemed to recognize it, so they've actually discounted it at the moment, which is lovely. And then I've started a website for it as well, which is www.themodeldiaries.co.uk, and then there's a Facebook page. And then I've got my own pages as well, and Facebook and everything else under Deborah Jay Kelly. So I guess if you just Google me, I'm hoping, I need to have a look later, but I'm hoping that I will come up with all of the different things, because there's quite a lot. So there's the presenting, the red carpet, the TV, the book. And so it all sort of comes under the platform really of Deborah Jay Kelly.
Okay, thank you. And we look forward to your other series, and I'll probably call you back to see how things are going.
You're going to play a part in it. Series 2, you're there.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.